morning and welcome to another exciting episode of Let's Catch Up with Sherani. I'm here today with my celebrity friend and guest, Mr. Kingson Jean. Kingson, say hi to our family.
Oi family, what's up? Everybody okay?
Kingston, welcome to my home.
It's a very beautiful home.
Thank you.
You passed my expectations.
I pass your expectation, you hear that? He said I surpassed his expectation. Okay, so Kingston, we are here today because we were speaking during the week and there's a very important topic that I feel that you are credible to speak to our family about. And we were talking about the number of young men who are dying in motorcycle accidents. Now, the reason I feel that you are credible, one, of course, Kingston is not just my friend. He taught my son to drive. You teach a lot of people to drive.
Yeah, daily.
Right, and also you are a motorbike rider. Tell our family a little bit more about yourself because there's a lot of things that you do and a lot of knowledge that you have that I think that you can impart.
There isn't much about me, you know. I used to be a police officer, and I resigned in the year 2000 to be a full-time driving instructor. I'm also a defensive driving instructor at Safa. And that's basically it, not nothing much.
What's a defensive driving instructor? What do you teach a person to what's defensive driving?
Well, defensive driving mainly to cause drivers to be aware of what is happening around them as they drive and how they could best use their driving skill to reduce on the number of collisions we have on our roads.
Okay. So, Kingston, let's go right into what we were discussing. The number of people dying in motorbike accident. And the reason this is so important to me, and those who know me well know that I tell this story a lot. I grew up with a guy, everyone thought it was my brother, but he was my cousin, Kevin George. May he rest in peace. And the week before Christmas, himself and his best friend, they went out riding on his motorbike and they collided with a minibus in St. Kitts. And they both died on the spot. That almost ruined my entire family. We cried tears for months and months and months, and it's
because he must have been young.
He was young. He was 26. And we woke up that morning. I took him to pick up his bike. He came in. I had a little minibus. He came in it with me.
You had a minibus?
A little tiny bus for my company. It was driving for my company. I was driving to work, and it was a company vehicle. And I went to drop him off to get his motorbike. That motorbike was a gift from his girlfriend. And it's funny because that week before, our grandmother who raised both of us, she was elderly. And we were sitting face to face in the living room, and we were saying, you know, Mama, that's what we called her. Mama is getting old. What are we going to do if she dies? And we were both tearing up because we were sad that she was thing. And he died the following week, almost to the day after we had that discussion. And so this is a topic that is dear to me. Whenever I see motorcyclists, I always just whisper a little prayer for them under my breath because they're not being careful.
Yeah, but probably what you should also not do is call other drivers while they're driving.
What do you mean?
Well, last week when we actually spoke,
yes,
you called me while I was driving. Now, and you see, that will distract the driver, which will also cause other road users to be in danger.
But how do I know where you are? I'm sorry. How do I know where you are? You said don't call other drivers when they're driving. Why did you answer the phone?
Right. At the time when I answered the phone, I was actually packed. But you did call me when you saw me on the road to say that you want to bust my head for me not to say no.
I saw him on the road and I called him and threatened his life because I said, how dare you see your friend and not say hi? Yes, but I know you didn't see me.
Luckily, I was not afraid when you did threaten my life because then I'll have to file a charge against you. But yes, a lot of motorists get themselves involved in collisions because of other drivers who are not aware as to what is going on around them as well. However, the motorists also must take into account that, hey, not all drivers are alert at all times. So I should fashion my style of riding, bearing in mind that not all drivers are alert all the time, of me being around them.
You mean because, on the motorbike?
Yes, because a motorcycle is a very small object compared to a car.
Yes.
and it's not easily seen as people might think. And even some might say, well, you could actually hear it. Not all the time.
No, you can't.
Especially if your glass up, you have your AC on and,
And
you
you're
have your
playing music,
loud.
yes.
Right. So normally when I ride, if I'm approaching a junction, although I can see clearly that nothing is coming at that junction, I will still slow down because you can never tell. So although nothing's coming from the junction, a driver and a minute together, if he might decide to swing into that junction, I mean, not put on his indicator at that point in time. So it is just a general rule that you don't overtake at junctions, whether you have a car, a truck, a motorcycle, or bicycle. You just don't overtake at a junction.
So let me ask you now, Kingson. So what I notice when I'm driving to work, I notice a lot of the guys on the motorcycles, they're coming through between both lanes. There's no
Right.
bike lane, so they're between, because obviously they don't want to be in single file.
Right, so you kind of make it like a third lane, and we don't have.
And we don't have a third
right.
lane. And also, they're very aggressive. It is my prerogative to drive whether center or, and if you're in the center and there's no space for them.
You're saying that
they're-
that lane belongs to you. So you're saying it's your prerogative to ride.
Within
drive
the
within the
lane, yes.
Yes, but at the same time, you must also bear in mind of all the road users. So even if it is your prerogative to ride
Yes.
within the lane, you want to drive more left of that road.
Oh,
It's actually safer for you in case another driver comes towards you and makes an error.
yes.
They might be on the phone or something like that, and they might drift into your lane.
Right.
It's safer if you're more left than close to the center line. It also makes allowance for the rider who also wants to overtake you as well, so he has more space to go through. I know some drivers, they try and prevent some riders from overtaking by actually keeping on the line, and it is not a good thing to do. Although I would also say overtaking is not illegal. But how you do it could be dangerous. So for the motorcyclists overtaking in that whole line of traffic, they have to ensure that every vehicle they're about to pass knows they're about to pass them.
Right.
By at least tooting your horn or even revving the engine of your bike a little bit, so then you have that extra sound, so that the driver could know, hey, you're about to pass by them. Than to just fly past through 10, 12 vehicles one time.
But that's
I overtake, but when I do it, I normally do 1, 2, then I go back in, 1, 2, go back in. Don't overtake a long string of traffic.
That's
because
careful,
you have
yes.
no idea whether the third person you're overtaking has seen you yet. So you want to moderate your speed when overtaking in traffic. with a
Riders,
motorcycle.
listen to what Mr. Jean is saying. And Kingson, I noticed another thing that happens, because it happened while I was driving out of what you all call a gap. Sometimes the cyclist, the motorbike person, will just go straight down because they can see their way.
Yes.
But somebody might stop for
To swing
someone
to
to
cross the
come
road.
out of a junction or for someone to pass. But all they can see is, and I know because you're not gonna believe this family, but I used to ride as well. I was trained on a 750, and then I used to ride and then I used to ride an 1100. So I know how to ride a motorbike. So
I just bought a new bike, a 900.
you just bought a 900?
Yes, so I
That's
will bring
nice.
for you. We'll go and ride together.
Yes, for sure. And it something this is a segue for that. After Kevin died, I didn't go back on a motorbike for years, and then at one point I said, okay, I gotta go back just to get over whatever I was feeling, and I went back. But after that,
You went back as a rider or as a pillion?
I went back on the back of it.
As a pillion?
Yeah.
You was wearing a pants or skirt? No, that's very
Stop
important.
it, Kingson. Stop it. So let's go back to where we were. Don't make me laugh. You're always doing this.
No, I like the feel of my pillion having a skirt. There's some kind of warmth, especially if it's raining.
He has all the camera crew laughing.
But yet at the same time, it's always safer to have a pants.
Yes, it is safer to have a pants and maneuver your way off of it. But what advice can you give to the riders? Because I wanted to do this segment because I care about them, specifically because of the hurt our family went through when Kevin died. A friend of mine, Glory, up there in Moshi, her son died as well on a motorbike. Other families, I know people who their friends died, and it's painful, when we lose them. So what advice can you give to them when they're riding their motorbikes? You said normally with you, because you're a cautious rider, every 2 cars you kind of swing back into the behind
into the lane.
into
yes.
the lane. what other advice can we give them besides if you don't have to buy the bike, buy a car?
Yeah, it's almost inevitable that it might fall. I've only fallen once actually. A car run across the road.
Yes, or get burnt on your foot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'll tell you, if you're gonna go and ride, there's a risk factor involved. But ride that you don't bleed. Let me explain that.
Okay, so I just want to reiterate to our family. So Kingson said, ride so that you do not bleed. So explain that to us.
I prefer to sweat than to bleed. So every time I ride, I always have my motorcycle jacket. Right, now, stand up just for a moment. Stretch your arm out. Hold this.
Oh, Jesus, it's so heavy.
It's very heavy.
Oh my gosh.
So it is heavy now while I'm holding it, but once it is on me, I won't feel the weight. And this is the reason why this one is heavy is because it is
It's very heavy,
padded.
family.
Knock it here. Knock it.
Oh.
Knock it like this. Right, so it has padding. You can knock it here as well. Has
Wow,
padding all
yeah.
around.
It's
So
almost,
the
it,
chin-
it almost feels bulletproof.
Yes, this actually is.
Oh, it is bulletproof
Yes,
because
it is.
you were police.
So all have padding as well.
Right.
Like elbow pads and so on and so forth.
Right.
So I always say ride for in case the fall actually occurs that you don't bleed, you don't get yourself injured. Always ensure that you have your helmet. And helmets are not that expensive. That's actually an expensive helmet.
It looks expensive.
It's a full-face helmet. It has sun visors and all, and so it has air vents to go through it. I could actually bring that up in so you can see.
You have ear vents
Right.
to keep your head cool.
Right, keep my head
That's
cool
pretty
and stuff
cool.
like that. So that one cost me $300. That jacket.
But
cost
that's
me-
not
that
$300
jacket-
is not
That
that
jacket
bad.
cost me
In a-
$500.
5 the 3 that's
Yeah.
800.
That's one of the jackets I've normally used for my pillions. So
The
you
one
know-
that's riding behind you.
Right,
Yes.
cool. So that one is not that thick, but if you feel the material, it will
It's
save you
it's
from
it's
having
good
some
leather.
bruises.
It feels like good leather.
Right, and
So
on
it will
forth.
take the scrape.
So
Yeah.
that's for you. Put it on because there's a lot of skin showing. I just want to have
You
a-
know, I really,
I don't
really,
look other
I
guys
don't like
looking
this
at
guy
me.
at all. There's no guys looking at me. Let me tell you, I will faint keeping this jacket on. So let me just reiterate what you said because we're laughing, but it's two very important points to save your life as a rider. One, you said make sure that you're wearing the proper attire. You know, wear a heavy jacket so in the event of a fall, you can protect your skin and your person because sometimes, well, it's almost inevitable that you will fall if you're a rider at some point. Also, you spoke about the helmet. Make sure that you have your head covered. The helmets are, a good helmet is approximately $300 with vents. It can keep cool and so forth. Make sure you're using the proper equipment. What else? I see you have some gloves.
When I fell off my bike, when I actually knocked that cow by the cinema, that cow went to watch a movie. And,
The car went to watch a movie.
that's right. And I didn't notice that. And as it was running across the road, because in the opposite direction, I tried to pull away from it, but it ran back right in front of me. Collided with that cow. I fell off my bike. My daughter was actually behind me. She flew over my head. I couldn't catch her. She fell and she dragged for a couple of feet. But guess what? When she got up, she didn't have not one bruise.
She had the proper attire.
Right. My gloves, if you notice here, is very, very
Yeah, you
hard
have
here.
a lot like knuckle,
Right.
knuckle protection
Yes.
on the glove.
I drag as well. That got worn out. That's not the actual glove at the time.
It got worn
got
out,
worn out all the
but
way
your
down.
fingers were
But
fine.
My fingers might remain the same. If I don't have the gloves, the cartilage in that would have been eaten up, and I would not be able to bend my fingers. Can you imagine if my fingers end up staying so? And now when I go and use the toilet, I can wipe my backside. Can you imagine what my fingers would do to it?
Guys, stop
Because I don't have the
laughing.
gloves. So, all those things, you wear those things for just in case. But always when you ride in mind that you're not the only person using the road. Other people using the road too, and you have to ride
Right.
as if they are bloody idiots, and you're the only wise one on the road.
So you have to ride as if everybody else riding on the road is an idiot. That's what he
Not
said
driving on the road, it's
to
not
save
good.
your life.
Yes.
Okay, so that is amazing. So wear the proper attire. Wear a jacket or pants that can protect your skin if you fall. Make sure you wear your helmet. If you can, wear gloves. Now, it sounds like a lot, but I would prefer to wear my helmet, the proper attire, gloves, everything, and go home to my family than to be left on the road.
Not only that, it actually costs everybody every time a rider is involved in a crash. It costs you as well. Because you see that rider's motorcycle probably worth $12,000 or even
Yes.
$5,000, but the car he knocks and rides off is probably worth $40,000 or $60,000. Now the insurance has to make that money back at some point in time. You know what they'll do?
Charge me extra on my
Yes, the next time you
premium.
come, your premium will be greater than what it used to be before. So every time you see there's a crash, everybody pays for it.
All right.
It is the World Health Organization had a survey, and it's found out that 3% of our GDP goes towards crashes. That's $3 out of every $100.
That's a significant
goes
amount.
towards a
Yeah.
crash goes towards collisions, basically, because then you have to pay for medication, hospitalization, ambulance can pick you up. All those things come at a cost.
There's a cost.
Every time they have a crash. Every time they have a crash, we have to order parts, but the parts coming from Japan, not from St. Lucia. We don't make those parts. So
Right.
that's our money going overseas. It costs the entire island.
Very intelligently said. And the most expensive of all of this is life. You know, you can't get life back. You could buy parts, but you can't get
cannot
life
replace
back.
it.
You can't replace your life.
And your life belongs to you. It is your responsibility to make sure that you protect your life. And that's why you should always have a helmet.
Yes.
Now, the policemen in St. Lucia, they don't really push it as like they push putting a seatbelt, which they really should. So it is now left up to you to ensure that you remain safe and you always have the helmet on. I don't have anybody riding if they don't have the helmet on. There's once this girl, used to live in Cabot State, and she just came back and she told me, "Sure, come and check me at my home." See me safe, boy. Means to 11, the girl can check out the home. So I was going to use my Jeep. I said, "No, I'll use my bike. I go pass the traffic fast and that and that." I burst when I reached by her home. She said, "Sure, if your bike you come?" I said, "Yes, with my bike." She said, "Why you come with your bike?" Because it was faster. "But sure, is Tammy and you going to drop for me at work?" I said, "Tammy, you going to drop for me at work?" "Oh, Tammy." I said, "I can't go and drop Tammy. I don't have an extra pair of helmets. I didn't walk right with one this time." So, but Tammy have to be out for 11, so I said, "Well, use a van." She said, "My van is in the car servicing." So I said, "Oh, shucks, man." And you know what I did? I rode from Cabot State to go all the way by Alman Morgan Bay. But I gave Tammy my helmet.
Okay.
And I rode without one instead.
Okay.
Because I don't want to be responsible for anybody's life.
Wow.
So I gave her. And
Wow.
imagine, I don't like Tammy. So I don't understand how some fellas they say, "That's my girl." And then they'll be riding with a helmet, but they have the girl without one. You don't love your girl yet. That's not your girl. That's how I see it.
I love that. If you really love and care about the people that are your passengers, you really would make sure that they are protected as well.
Even before you.
Even before you.
Yeah.
Yes. You know something, Kingson? This has been a really, really fun interview, very informative. I really want to just take this moment to just offer our sincere condolences to those parents and family members who has lost anyone in motorbike accidents over this last year, over years. Okay, and I hope that if you have riders at home in your family members, you know, you will send a copy or you will send this show to them so that they can, you know, learn from these tips, because we love our family. We want to keep them alive. Kingson.
And please subscribe. We need at least 1,000 viewers.
We need more than 1,000
Yeah.
subscribers. So we want you to like, subscribe, and share this very important information. So thank you again for joining us on another episode of Let's Catch Up with Sherani. Our celebrity guest, Kingson, thank you so much for coming.
You're most welcome.
We'll see you again